This is an open letter from Michael Cassidy, founder of African Enterprise, to Mr. Julius Malema. It appeared originally as an article in The Witness in Pietermaritzburg on April the 5th, 2023. The headline of the article title was "The Greatest Shutdown Was in 1985. This is what I said. Good day, Mr. Malema. You have been a busy man these days, but amidst your business, I want you to read this and get an extra bit of perspective out of our recent South African history and a different way of looking at things. You called for a national shutdown, although for most of South Africa, it was an almost normal working day, while some took it as part of a long weekend. You nevertheless declared that it was the greatest national shutdown in South African history. This is where my bit of history comes in, because, with respect, I think you have got it wrong. In October 1985, a four-day non-racial conference of some 450 senior Christian leaders was held in Pietermaritzburg. It included Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Bishop Khoza Mngorjo, President of the SACC, Bishop Motlanyane Mokgoba, later head of the PAC, Professor Johann Haynes, NGK moderator, Alan Paton, prominent Christian layperson and founder of the SA Liberal Party, Frederick van Zyl-Slabbert, opposition leader in Parliament, Cardinal Wilfred Napier, head of the South African Roman Catholic Church, myself as team leader of African Enterprise, and other involved Christian leaders. It was called the National Initiative for Reconciliation, or NIR. The conference, among other things, resolved to send a delegation to then-President P.W. Botha with a fourfold demand for the release of Nelson Mandela, the unbanning of the liberation movements, the removal of the army from the townships, and the establishment of a non-racial democracy. The conference also called for a national pray-away, where we'd ask all South Africans to stay home on a working day to pray for our country and ask God to bring an end to apartheid and for the government to heed our fourfold demand. The date was set for October 9th, 1985. All this created quite a stir. But Julius, you would not remember this, as you were only a toddling little fellow of 4. I think you were born in 1981, right? March 3rd, right? So you've recently had a birthday, right? Congratulations. Many happy returns. In a very heavy private confrontation that I had the day before the pray-away, and supposedly preparing for the NIR delegation, an infuriated President P.W. Botha told me that the day would be a complete failure, Mr. Cassidy, a complete failure. However, it was not. Most South Africans the next day stayed home to pray. There were no marches, no protests, no violence, no arrests, no burning tires, no threats, and no intimidation, although the police were on high alert. South Africa came to a standstill. Business, industry, and academia shut down. Even the mines were affected. The City Press newspaper the next day had a lead story with a bold headline, "Hear us, O Lord," accompanied by a picture of the busiest road in South Africa, the rush hour road from Soweto to the city centre, and on it was one lone cyclist. No cars, buses, taxis, or motorbikes. Nothing. Just one lone cyclist. That, Mr. Malema, was the greatest national shutdown in the history of South Africa, and thousands of whites were involved in it as well as blacks. This is worth remembering, lest it be thought that only blacks were caught up in the struggle. Beyond that, you would find it instructive to watch a documentary called The Threatened Miracle of South Africa's Democracy, available on YouTube, where much of the struggle is set forth before your generation was involved. It is also instructive to register the strong Christian component that was inherent in the NIR. I don't think you are wise to disparage this dimension in South Africa, as you did the other day when you said, "We are not religious. Christians keep talking about Jesus coming again, but we are Jesus coming again." Whoa, 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 my young friend, whoa. You are stepping onto very thin ice, and you could come a real cropper. Moreover, if you do want to be Jesus coming again, you need to speak more like him, forgive more like him, and act more like him. And indeed, if you did embrace him as your Savior, Lord, and friend, and followed his ways, you could indeed use your considerable influence to help steer our country towards social healing, economic reform, rescue of the poor and marginalized, and an honorable and respected place once more in the family of nations, as in Mandela's time. It is worth dreaming about. And I think I can say this, my young friend Julius, as I am an old Mkhulu of 86 years. And for 65 of those, I have been working for the spiritual, political, and social freedom of South Africa. I might call it by another name, transformational revival. And ultimately, this can only come from God. You know, I'd like to meet you, really, really. You name the time and place, and I'll be there. Sincerely and respectfully, Michael Cassidy, founder of African Enterprise, and you can Google us. Au revoir.